Hi everybody, it's my pleasure to be here today. Thank you so much to the organizers and everybody who made this happen. I'm going to start by telling you a little bit about my love life. I was in a committed relationship for the past 4 years. My partner and I, we spent day in and day out together. We were inseparable. I really thought that it would last forever. Unfortunately, about 6 months ago, we ended things. I was devastated. Not to be dramatic, but I thought I would never recover or be able to recommit after the heartbreak. Newsflash, here I am. I'm standing in front of you today, and I'm fine. 3 months ago, I decided to take the plunge with a new partner. I also moved to a new city. So while I was cautious, we all know how things escalate. My partner and I, we now spend so much time together. We do many activities, spend many nights, share heartbeats, stories, we learn from each other. Quite frankly, I don't even remember the last time we didn't shower together. You could say that our love language is quality time. I'm a little bit wary of our codependence, yes. My friends are beginning to point out physical markers pointing to the escalation of our relationship. Just to clarify though, so your imagination doesn't get ahead of you, so you don't let your imagination get ahead of you, the relationship that I'm speaking of is with my smartwatch. Yes, it's a piece of wearable technology. This smartwatch, that I've named Ken, has revolutionized my daily routine, my exercise regimen, and the way I approach and hold myself accountable for continuous improvement. And I'm not alone in this. Millions of people around the world, they've adopted wearable technology too, in various capacities. Now let's do a little quick poll. By a show of hands, how many of you have ever engaged in the world of wearable technologies? You have Apple Watch, Whoop, Garmin, Fitbit, you name it. Okay. I'm glad to see some hands coming up. It saves me the awkward embarrassment of having to leave and exit stage left or come up with something else that's more relevant on the fly. It's clear that these devices, they've become part of our social fabric and they're changing the way that we interact with technology. The growth of this market alone has been nothing short of astounding. In 2022, it was already a booming $61 billion industry. But brace yourselves. The projected valuation for 2030 is a crazy $190 billion. And with over a confirmed 1 billion users worldwide, it's clear that this is not just a fleeting fad. These devices, they have our hearts, like with me, and they also have our data, and they're redefining the way that we interact with each other and with ourselves. To give you guys a quick and brief definition, wearable technology, they're electronic devices that are equipped with intelligent sensors that collect and exchange data across various different networks. They have several functions. One of the important ones includes fitness and health. So these devices, they measure our vitals, like body temperature, like blood pressure, and like heart rate. Just right now, I got a notification for an elevated heart rate of 109, pointing to my onstage nerves, and I'm supposed to be a runner. Beyond that, these devices also measure our steps, they track our sleeping patterns, they are our silent companions, and they hold us accountable to our every decision. They really witness our lives. For athletes, these devices also have the capacity to customize training plans, to help in identifying training zones, to optimize workouts and recovery. They, apart from fitness and health, are able to increase connectivity by incorporating social apps. They're able to improve accessibility for people with disabilities through functions such as voice recognition and haptic feedback. Beyond that, they are able to support navigation by built-in GPS. This is all to say that it might feel like we are entering into uncharted territory, or the plot of some sort of sci-fi novel. I want each and every one of you, though, to realize this crunching of numbers and data on wearable devices, it's only the latest chapter in us humans' desire to simplify, quantify, and be curious about our human bodies. It's the same curiosity that in the 1780s brought us Jefferson's pedometer, which is a device that measured steps. It's the same curiosity that in the 1920s brought us the lie detector, which relies on galvanic skin response, blood pressure, and heart rates to identify signs of deception. It is clear that these devices and this curiosity, they've always been a part of our history. It's only now we are learning to look at them through the lens of advancing technology. And as technology continues to advance, and devices like my little Ken get more and more sophisticated, it is important to consider the idea of posthumanism. Posthumanism is a philosophical concept. It stipulates that humans, they're not, and they should not be at the center of everything. It rejects the idea that humans are completely identifiable, reasonable, and knowable. This rejection, it underscores our connection with our environment, our connection with, and by extension of that, our connection with technology. It permits us to consider the idea that the identities of our bodies, the definition of our body, is fluid. What if I were now to ask you what you consider parts of your body? I will take an educated guess, and I will assume that you automatically thought of different body parts, including your legs, your arms, your ears, your mouth, your nose, similar to the nursery rhyme that we came up with and that we grew up listening to. While I am in no position to say that this is incorrect, I do think it lacks a little bit of nuance. Scholars and academics have for years continued to explore, define, and redefine what the human body means. This definition, it has expanded from including solely biological parts of us, the objective body, to now also include non-biological mediums. Famous philosopher and mathematician Merleau-Ponty provides an illustrative example of this, the example of the blind man and his cane. Through repetitive and continuous use, this cane becomes a part of the blind man's subconscious. It becomes a part of his bodily schema. He doesn't think about it when he uses it to navigate his world. It is part of his experienced body. In parallel, you have a lot of philosophers from Heidegger to Haraway to McLuhan who have really explored how technology is shaping and reshaping what it means to be human. Heidegger looks at and posits that technology is not just an activity or an experience, it takes on a life of its own. Haraway explores the dissolution of boundaries between man and machine. McLuhan's seminal idea that the medium is the message goes a step further in showing us how technology is shaping our lives. So if we consider the context of this ever-changing world with technology, the experienced body metaphor can be applied to and start to include our wearable tech devices. Through continuous interaction, as these devices measure our heart rates and sleep patterns and track our motion, they graduate from being mere gadgets to being core components in our decision-making processes and in how we view ourselves, our self-perception. They take on a sort of agency. Honestly, I don't remember the last time I didn't wake up and check how many hours I slept. Just to brag, I got a solid 8 hours and 27 minutes last night. It was lovely. So now, if we go back to Donna Haraway, who I mentioned, explores the fusion between machine and man, she frames this by calling us all cyborgs. She says the boundaries between man and machine, they're going to continue to blur. And I'm not going to lie to you. The first time I was taught this concept of a cyborg, the images that conjured up in my mind, they were dystopian and they were dark. But upon further reflection, I am less concerned with the inevitable, yes, the inevitable integration between man and machine. I'm more concerned with one of the byproducts. The byproduct that is we are replacing our feelings and our innate, unquantifiable instincts with data. This constant obsession with self-optimization, misguided idea that we can have complete control. There's a philosopher, René Descartes. They say that we can look at the world look at humans as machines. And yes, definitely, positive input is bound to create positive output. Decades and years and hours of training and good sleep and tracking all of those metrics, they will lead to better performances. But I much prefer the idea of Michel Foucault, who says that in looking at us and considering humans as machines, we risk sidelining the soul that is the essence of human existence and is where magic happens. Consider the 400-meter race. It is my event in track and field, and it is excruciatingly painful. I don't say that to toot my own horn, but really it is. Success in this event, yes, it depends on treating your body well and like a well-oiled machine and routine, but it also, on race day, depends on how much pain you are willing to put yourself through. And that is something that no dashboard or screen can support or tell you. It is how you take in your environment and your emotions and go beyond what is logical based on the data points that you are continuously fed. Catherine Hales succinctly puts this when she says that the idea of the ideal post-human is one where they exercise the benefits of technology, information technology, without being seduced by the misguided obsession of control and disembodiment. So, as we continue to navigate this post-human world, as we optimize ourselves with statistics, as we track our sleep and our heart rates, I want you all to remember that our pulse is more than just a number. Our pulse also is also a reflection of our environments. It is a reflection of our emotions. Lean into that when you're looking for a big time performance. Lean into what is beyond the logical statistics. And when in doubt, remember that this advice comes from somebody, a track athlete, where performance metrics are a daily consideration, but whose biggest performances have been on days where that was all tossed out the window. So thank you so much. Appreciate you listening.